Hey YouTube Void, what's going on? How were your weeks? Hi, my name is Rachel. I am an artist slash part-time reseller that makes part-time pay slash person who is obsessed with sustainability, saving things from the landfill, climate change is real, and rolling all of that into one fun YouTube video series that nobody really has asked for and nobody really wants to watch. In addition to that, also showing the realities of like what the difference is between the gross profit and the net profit, basically what the buyer pays and then what I take home at the end of the day. And then just because that's not convoluted enough, I've also decided to incorporate a new way of doing business, which I like to call empathic capitalism.
What the hell is that?
A good question, because I made it up. Probably because it doesn't work, but it's the idea of not only making a profit, but also giving back to the community, being a part of something greater than yourself, providing an excellent product. So to make sure that the intention behind the business is not just profit, but is also about putting something out into the universe that is hopefully doing good and is, showing that it's not only about money, it's about each other and taking care of each other. Blah, blah, blah. We are the world. Insert music here, which I can't because not that I'll get demonetized because there's no monetization going on, but it's copyrighted. So all good. We are the world. We are the ones that make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. I think that's about all I remember.
We're sending our love down the well.
Down that well.
Anyways, I took a week off of recording because I went to go watch my nephew graduate. Congratulations, Luke. Not that anybody really noticed. I did increase my viewers or my subscribers to, I think, 8 now. So thank you. I started doing a couple shorts, which garnered more likes than probably the entirety of 15 videos that I've done. So that's cool. Honestly, Ichabod is the reason to watch the video, and he's on in the beginning. So, definitely, if that's all you're interested in, which is a big fluffy gray lion cat, then, watch for the first 30 seconds and then peace.
You don't love me!
All good. Anyways. Yeah, how was everybody's week? And by everybody, the 3 people who are watching it. Mine was interesting. It's really weird when you're self-employed because not only am I self-employed as an artist, but I'm also self-employed as a part-time reseller. So taking time off means you're not making any money. There's no vacation days. There are no sick days, yada, yada, yada. So rectifying that with my personality and the fact that I'm always feeling like I should be working has been a little bit hard for me. It was hard I went home and visited family, and it was hard not to feel like I could afford to take that time off, which I honestly couldn't.
Help me, I'm poor.
I'm gonna do sales for 2 weeks, but by 2 weeks, I mean a week and 2 days, because I had sales for Monday and Tuesday of last week. And then of course I put stuff on vacation. And so I did have some sales come in, but I do usually count the sales on the day that I take them to the post office, and it's, Memorial Day weekend, so it'll be Tuesday. So there'll be a nice amount going on Tuesday, but that'll be for a longer period of time, especially the time that I was on vacation. There is a whole thing on the YouTube with resellers about putting your store in vacation and whether it slows down your sales. Just data-wise, I have done it. I at least do it once a year. I have never put my store on vacation. I've never put it on vacation for more than like 4 or 5 days, but I've never run into a situation where I didn't have any sales when I put it on vacation. I also have not noticed a decrease in sales right after I take it off vacation. Is that hardcore data? Not really. It's just my experience, which other people could have other experiences. But it does stand to reason that if companies like eBay and Poshmark have things like promoted listings, that them making it more difficult for other people to see your listings because you're not on the platform, or you're on vacation, doesn't make any sense. Because if their intention is to make money, which, for their shareholders, then it doesn't make any sense that they would penalize you for things like, vacation or whatever. But maybe they are. Maybe there's some genius mastermind at headquarters being like, this person took 5 days off. Well, you know what? She gets no sales. We're not going to show her listings to anybody. That kind of thing. What's the truth? So who knows? But yeah, so it was really difficult spending money or justifying any kind of spending money when you're not making any money.
Help me, I'm poor.
This week, though, I really wanted to talk about AI listings, and I do not have a dog in the fight. Is that the correct terminology? Probably not. I don't care one way or the other. I don't have affiliate links. I generally I know what works for me, but if somebody swears by it, then please just disregard what I'm saying. I'm just providing information from my personal opinion. And if that does not gel with your reality, then you know what? Tell me to F off and it's all good. Because I really hate when people try and teach you something when they have no knowledge of who you are and what you need and what your intentions are. I love the millions of YouTube videos of people who resell. I have learned a lot, but I do find quite a bit, and why I started doing this channel, that their reality is not mine. And for them to tell me to do something that doesn't make any sense with my business model or my reality would frustrate me. And so, like I said, we're just going to look at AI listings. What are they? Are they worth it? And, as what do you want to do about it? For me, just burying the lead, I don't use them. I do not think that they are helpful, and I don't think they're worth the extra cost. We see week after week, and by we I mean I, because I'm the only one really watching these videos, exactly how much money I'm taking home when all is said and done, especially after every month when I start taking out everything. And even with some AI listings, it looks like it's only 7 cents per listing. That's still 7 cents. And so if it's not helpful to me and my business, then I'm not going to do it. But let's look at it, okay?
Be you robot or human?
Robot, we be.
Yup. Just 2 robots out roboting it up. Huh?
What is AI? I mean, I really feel like my parents. I feel like I'm getting old because I'm like, get off my lawn, AI. I mean, everybody has a visceral reaction. There is so much information that's coming out with AI. AI is kind of being thrust upon us, whether we like it or not. I like to use AI when it is beneficial to what I'm doing. I do not think it is necessary for everything, but AI is now in my emails, it's now in my text messages. Instead of getting a text message from somebody, if I don't click on it, I will get like a generalized description of what the person's talking about. And it drives me insane because it's like, let me just like look into my text message. And if I can't see, like, if it's just giving me like a summary, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm really taking in what the text message is, until I actually click on it. So it's not really necessary, but it's being thrust upon me. So what is AI, or as they call it, artificial intelligence?
Ha 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 ha! Much laughter and exaggerated scenarios ahead.
This joke was written by AI while the writers were on strike.
And this is a personal opinion. But when you think artificial intelligence, you think like killer robots, like they're all coming for us, and which might happen at some point. But yeah, it seems a lot more ominous, so we just say AI. But what the crap is it? Well, let's look at the dictionary. Let's look at AI to tell us what AI is. AI stands for artificial intelligence. It refers to computer systems or software designed to perform tasks that typically require human cognition, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, understanding language, and making decisions. How it works. Rather than following a rigid, pre-written set of rules, AI systems analyze massive amounts of data. By using algorithms, they identify patterns and learn from new information to make predictions or take autonomous actions. And then you see the research, and everybody has an opinion about it, and the amount of energy they use and water that they use and what is it good for. And I had an experience with AI recently that showed me that it really is not as like all-encompassing or amazing as it claims to be. So thinking about AI from some random human that sings and probably has a basic understanding of things, it's basically just like taking information that's already available on the internet and making a calculated decision and following a set of prompts that, the programmer gives it, which nobody tells us about what they are because, I believe that would be proprietary information. But the problem is that like you don't know where AI is getting all of their data and what the parameters are. So here's my example. I went to an antique store by my dad's place for, because we had some time off. And I saw this Franklin Mint I Love Lucy doll with a trunk and outfits, a whole bunch of outfits. And my mom, who passed away actually 2 years ago today, she loved Lucy. I actually sold quite a few I Love Lucy dolls that were hers, the Barbie ones. But this Franklin Mint one, the characteristics of the face were so cool. I also, I'm a redhead. I love, Lucille Ball has been a huge inspiration to me as an artist, doing comedy. Her and Carol Burnett both, side note. Carol Burnett and I have the same birthday and we're both left-handed. Does that mean I'm a stalker because I know this information? Yes. Side note over. Anyways, it felt like when I saw that trunk, it was a sign. And I negotiated with the seller and purchased it for a really good price and brought it home. And now, like, I put it on a display on WWLD, What Would Lucy Do? And to remind myself to, like, be bold and to take chances and to, you know, be that kind of person who stands out. Really awesome find. Okay, where does AI come into this? Well, the Franklin Mint had a whole bunch of outfits for the stall. And I was like, now I'm obsessed. I'm like, okay, I want to know all the outfits that were available because at some point I would like to have all of them and I want to like get a list. So we used AI to like get that information. The problem is that the AI information was not accurate and it spouted a lot of misinformation, not only about like the Franklin Mint I Love Lucy collection, but like her outfits. They talked like we did the prompt of like do a list of outfits from this stall and like purchasing information. And like the list of outfits, like there were outfits listed that like we cannot find any like history on them that they didn't create, and like information about the outfits that didn't make sense, like the sales resistance outfit, which is her classic outfit, and then it said fruit hat, and I'm like, okay, well she didn't wear a fruit hat during that one, so it was completely like not worth the time we spent using AI. And I think the reason why the information was inaccurate is because then I went into the internet, into the bowels of the internet, trying to find a list or like old brochures or anything, like all of the information I could about this doll, because now I'm obsessed and now I'm like, okay, I need to know everything about it. And there really isn't a definitive site that has this information. There's nobody that has a list. Everybody's got different information. And so AI is taking all of the information that's online with people that do not have accurate information and sending that to me, which means then it's not accurate. So what was the point of using the energy and the water for the AI? No, there wasn't a point. Will in time maybe it get better? Possibly, but you know, that was like, and then we tried to use AI because I did this little poster about what would Lucy do, and I wanted to use a photo. And with the prompts, it came up with like stupid images that weren't actual images. So I just ended up finding a picture online and then adding text to it, you know, which is super easy. So it's like, you know, there are things that AI is good for, but not for everything. And it's not at all accurate. So that's my example. When it comes to reselling, AI listings is the thing now. In my humble opinion, it is the thing that everybody talks about. And so I ask myself, why? Why is it so important to everybody? Why is everybody obsessed with the AI listings? And this is my personal opinion, but I think that the reason behind it is because, at least for me and reselling, finding treasures and going to the bins and purchasing things are fun. That is my dopamine hit, right? That's where the brain is like, oh my gosh, you found a treasure. What could you make from it? The possibilities are endless. But the reality of reselling, which is the photographing, the listing description, and all that stuff, is less than exciting. It is my personal least favorite thing to do. And I'm pretty sure that's for a lot of people. And that's also the thing that takes the most time, right? Research, like finding, you know, the description, the title, like figuring out what is going to make it the most enticing. So having a computer go in and auto-generating it Seems like an amazing thing, right? And I'm like, okay, great. I love anything that saves time. But does it really save time? Because let's go back to that I Love Lucy doll. I mean, honestly, this video is all about the I Love Lucy Franklin Mint doll.
Fine, you're doing splendidly. Speed it up a little!
But I, went into eBay to see what was available. And I found 2 listings online, and no shade to these sellers. We have 2 I Love Lucy listings with trunks and outfits. So I'm looking at it. And one of them says Franklin Mint I Love Lucy complete. And it's on sale for $900. And it looks amazing. It looks like it has a million outfits. Okay, so let's look at the description with this. It says, item description from the seller. For collectors of vintage dolls, this Franklin Mint Lucille Ball doll is a must-have. With a red wig and light complexion, this 16-inch fashion doll embodies the spirit of the iconic I Love Lucy franchise. The doll comes complete with a set that includes her signature outfit and is perfect for display or play. Whether you're a fan of the show or a collector of rare dolls, this Lucille Ball is sure to delight. Can keep what you want or need to complete your collection and sell and make some, if not all, your money back. Great. When I'm looking at this from a buyer, because now remember, I'm obsessed with this doll. Does it show a list of everything that it has? It just says complete. I've just done a ton of research and I have a hard time figuring out what the complete set is. So I'm looking at the outfits and it looks like it, but I'm not sure. It doesn't show a listing. Does it show any kind of condition issues? Because this is vintage. And honestly, anything that is pre-owned in general is going to have some kind of wear. It's just like, right, you drive the car off the lot and it suddenly depreciates in value. And as a buyer now who is obsessed with Franklin Mint I Love Lucy, these are the things that I want to see. So this description was fun, and I would be willing to put money on the fact that it was AI generated, because the flowery language, this is an amazing collector item and it's iconic with the TV show. I don't care. I don't care about that. Do I know? Yes, 100%. I've been obsessed with Lucille Ball since I can remember. Like, it is iconic. And so they're selling this for $900. So somebody who is buying this at $900, is going to be, in my opinion, a collector. And is that information on that AI listing showing the buyer what they need? And I don't think it is, because let's say you purchase it and let's say there's age spots on some of the clothing, which is entirely possible, especially if something's been in storage. What if there are some marks and stuff on the trunk? Like, they've shown a lot of pictures, but they're not showing everything, and so, or what if it isn't complete? That gives the buyer then the opportunity to say, hey, this isn't as described, and maybe return it. And even though you may not have returns, eBay has a way that a buyer can create a return regardless. So was it worth the amount of time and the extra money for an AI listing? If they've spent extra for an AI listing. Let's look at the other one, because there's 2 with the trunk that I'm interested in. This one says, Franklin Mint I Love Lucy almost complete collection, doll and accessories, dresses. Okay, great. This Franklin Mint I Love Lucy doll collection is almost complete with all but a few pieces. The doll stand The dolls stand, that's okay, grammatically incorrect, at 16 inches and feature the iconic outfits from the classic TV show. The collection includes multiple dresses and accessories that perfectly capture the essence of the beloved franchise. Whether you're a fan of the show or just love collecting unique and beautiful dolls, this Franklin Mint collection is sure to impress. Again, putting money on the fact that it's probably AI listing. Because what human being is going to be like, this perfect collection is amazing, and is going to take the time to type it out? It's a possibility, but I'm willing to put money that it's not. Here's the issue too. They are listing it for $1,300, which is a lot of money, especially in today's economy, right? You look at the outfits, those outfits aren't even from the I Love Lucy collection. The Franklin Mint did a whole bunch of dolls, like Elizabeth Taylor dolls. They did one from Sandy from Grease, or Olivia Newton-John, R.I.P. They did one with Jackie Kennedy, and they did one with Rose from Titanic. And those outfits are definitely not from the I Love Lucy collection. They may have an I Love Lucy doll and the trunk, and there may be a couple things from the I Love Lucy collection specifically. But it takes me 5 minutes to look at, stuff online and to know that those dresses and stuff are not from that collection. Even though it's hard to tell everything, none of them are from like any of the iconic, shows that we remember, like, the outfits that I have, like the candy one, and there's the grape stomping one, the operetta, the Cuban one, like the one where she's the Vita Vita Vegemin, like iconic, right? And these outfits are not it. So somebody could purchase that and just be like, almost complete. No, there are no outfits, and then they could be angry. And let's say they don't return something. Like, that's not the only thing. It's like somebody has a negative experience on eBay. There's quite possibly a chance that they won't purchase on eBay again, especially if they're paying something like $1,300. And my rant on this is not to like call out these sellers, because listen, everybody's doing the best job that they possibly can. And maybe they're doing amazing sales. Like, who am I? I am nobody. I make nothing. However, I'm just trying to like figure out as a seller, like, how do I create not only the best product that I can, but also give the buyer a good experience so that they'll want to come back to eBay, even if it's not with one of my listings, So that's the tea.
And that is the tea.
So when we look at what AI listings do, as opposed to like what the buyer needs to see. So like I said, I have no affiliate link. I went List Easier is one of the listing platforms. They allow 10 free listings without having to like put a credit card down. So I signed up and I tried one, and it's the same thing. Like, we have this jersey, this Los Angeles jersey from a company called Pro Sport, which looks to be like vintage. It was hard to find information about it online, but I put it in. I just put in the pictures, the same pictures that I would put in if I was listing it. If I was a buyer and interested in this jersey, what are the things that I want to know? Well, I want to know what the size is, and I probably would want to know measurements, or hopefully a lot of us would want to know measurements, because the worst thing is about having something that doesn't fit. And, I don't want to be somebody who's like, people are going to be like, Amazon returns, I'm just going to return, because it doesn't fit. I know, like, for me personally, when I purchase dresses on the sites, because I love Unique Vintage Dresses, which is a company that does like retro dresses. I wear them for church almost every Sunday. I wear them for auditions, callbacks, and all that stuff. But even with one company, their sizing can be a little weird. So I always make sure that I see the measurements, because once I can see the measurements and I know it has a certain measurement from pit to pit, okay, we're good. It'll fit. and I have not had to return a dress. So measurements are a big deal. Size. Also, condition. Like, if something has a hole, if something has loose threads, with this it does. Like, this jersey is really cool, but when you look up close at the stitch details where the Los Angeles is, there's a lot of loose threads and wear to that, like, applique kind of thing. And, hopefully somebody would see it in the photos, but isn't it my responsibility to also put that in the description? So it took me a minute because I usually list everything from my phone. I just find it easier so I don't have to download the photos to my laptop. And I then had to put it into the search engine, and this is what it generated. Is it fun? Yeah. Is it easy? Yeah. But is it like, do I then need to go in and give, more details and information on it? Yeah. Which is the same as if I didn't have it. So is it worth like even if it cost me 7 cents? I don't think so. And the eBay AI generated listings, which are free, is even worse. What is an easier solution for me? Because yeah, I don't need to be typing everything into my phone and, create a lot of work for myself. But I have like a copy paste. So especially with clothes, like I'll put in like the brand and material info, and I have just a copy paste. And then I'll add things like the measurements and the wear. When it comes to like toys and stuff, you don't need to put in much information. Like, if it does something, say that it does it. If something doesn't work, say that it doesn't work. If something is new, but there's wear to the, to the packaging, mention that. Like, how tall is it? Like, literally, the only things that you need to do once you've done all the research is like, okay, what is it? What does it do? And what are the specifics on it? Like, and what is the wear? And I don't think that takes up too much of my time. Time over time, I have found that when I do research, I'm better able to make more like smart decisions when it comes to the listing, especially when it comes to price, to knowing what things are worth, to knowing what to look out for. Half the thing is about finding that thing, right? That thing that's worth a crap ton of money. Always, my favorite is that I found this wolf hat. I think they're called snoods. And but at the bins, and nobody was even looking twice at it. So I thought it was cool looking, and I go home and I wash it, and then I look it up, and the thing is worth new is worth over $100. It's like a specific company that makes these things, and they're worth a lot of money. And I ended up selling it for quite a bit of money, for I think $60. It was a while ago. But then I'm in the bins in a different location and find another one. And because I had done, and the company, sorry, is called Spirit Hood, so you can do your own research with that. But I found a second one last year and sold it not only fast, but sold it for a decent amount of money. And again, nobody was picking it up in the bins because people are like, oh, it's a wolf hat. Nobody's going to want that, without knowing that it's actually something that is highly desirable. Would I have known that without doing research? No. So if AI is going to take that away from me, and not for the listing process, I should say, if I do AI listing and it's going to take away that whole research element, then maybe I'm not making the best decisions when it comes to pricing what I have and finding things going forward. So that is the AI listing saga for me. And for the one person who watches this, maybe you love AI listings and list easier or list perfectly or one of those companies and it is really helpful for your business, I think that's amazing. I'm just looking at the tiny amount that I make from each sale once everything gets taken out. And so I'm just trying to maximize my net profit and minimize the costs. And so that is my rant on AI listings. Again, I do not think that all AI is evil. I do not think that it is useful for everything. And I think when it comes to something like that is not brand new, the biggest things that buyers want to know is like the things that AI can't tell you, at least at this point. And so I'm just trying to think like a buyer. And I think that is probably the easiest way to make these decisions. And again, maybe it may not bother you as much. When I see the AI listings, because it's all like, this remarkable item was handmade from the Alps and is an amazing addition to your collection because of the resale value of the, okay, that was really bad improv, but it doesn't make sense for me. So that is my rant on AI listings.
Would you excuse me for a moment?
Now, if anybody wants to come into the comments and disagree with me or, hate comment, fair. Like I said, who am I? Absolutely nobody, making no money. I'm just trying to provide a different perspective because I think, especially in this economy, when, it feels like money is tight for a lot of people, maybe not everybody, but if money is tight, then people are going to be more cautious about making purchases. And so how do I not only provide listings that are going to be something that somebody wants, but how do I also position it to where it's going to provide the buyer with as much information as they need to make that educated decision? eBay is not Amazon, and I feel like I have to constantly tell myself that. Amazon works with promoted listings, right? And that's a whole nother topic that we're not even going to deal with. But a lot of people are selling the same thing and it's all brand new. So having your listing up at the top of the search engine makes the most sense. But with something like eBay, which has made its business on being kind of a collector website, if I am going to purchase something and I need something brand new and I need something quick, I'm going to go to Amazon. Even though I do not like Jeff Bezos, I will go to Amazon. If I'm looking for something that's the Franklin Mint, I Love Lucy, I'm going to go to eBay. But with something like that, there is going to be wear. It's vintage. It's lived a life. There is wear, just like there's wear on this face from a lot of years. And so that is what I want to know. Because even if it's brand new in the box, I'm sure there's going to be wear to the box. Maybe there's an H spot on it again. Just let me know everything that I'm getting myself into, and then I will make the informed decision as a buyer.
1 hour later.
So let's get into the week of sales. So we're basically doing 2 weeks, but the second week is only 2 days because I was gone for the rest of the week. So for housekeeping, we have our gross profit and we have our net profit. For my uneducated brain, the gross profit is basically what the buyer pays. Net profit is what I take home after all is taken out, including things like the platform fees, shipping labels, cost of goods, blah, 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 holding 30% for taxes. Don't hate me because that's what they tell you to do. And by they, I mean the internet. So anyways, basically every week I get to what I call my pre-net for the week. And what the pre-net is all I'm taking out is the platform fees, the shipping labels that I have to purchase, which are basically only on eBay, and any commissions that I pay out. At the end of the month, then we go in and take out all the other fun stuff, like the cost of goods, like any shipping supplies that I have to purchase, subscriptions that I have to pay for, again, holding money for taxes. So just for this week, we're getting to our pre-net. As I mentioned, this day of the sales are the days that I take it to the post office, which is why for last week we only had sales for Monday and for Tuesday. Sales for Monday are usually for the weekend. I think that's about it. Super easy, right? Because they make, like, you know, business so easy to figure out. I mean, for some people probably it is, but when all is said and done, the devil is in the details seems to be like the best thing that I have to say in regards to it, is that if I am not on top of everything, and some people are not, but I am super detailed, because I'm not able to make informed decisions with my money or with my business when I'm not super detailed. So that's what all this is. Anyways, let's get to it. So here we go. For not this last week, but the week before, because I took the week off. Let's get into it. On Monday, which were the sales for the weekend, which makes this even more pathetic. We have 4 sales, 3 on eBay, 1 on Poshmark. We have a Harry Potter Quidditch hat, which is very cool. I actually have a story with it, but I can't share it yet. So stay tuned, all 4 people watching. It sold for $11 with $6 shipping, and eBay released $14.28. Then we have a Worthington double tassel rhinestone necklace. It sold for $11 with $4.50 shipping, and eBay released $13.08. Then we have this Doberman security window alarm. It was my dad's. We moved him into a retirement community after my mom passed away, and this was at their house. They never installed it, so it's still sealed. It sold for $12 with $6 shipping, and eBay released $15.19. Then on Poshmark, we have this 2008 Betty Boop baseball-themed hacky sack, which was fun. It sold for $10, and Poshmark released $7.05. So the amount that was released to me after the platform fees were taken out was $49.60. But we have 3 labels that I had to pay for on eBay, which were $6.95, $6.07, and $6.17, which left us with a pre-net for Monday of $30.41, which is so pathetic when you consider it's from the weekend. Also, I made a big stink last week or 2 weeks ago about so on eBay, I do a flat rate shipping charge, but the shipping has increased like exponentially over the last year or 2. So the amount that I'm charging for shipping is like dollars less than what I'm actually paying for shipping. I have worked on being better about that going forward. I still need to go into some of my listings and update that. So, you know, if you go into my listings and you want to purchase something that's old, you'll get a good deal, especially with shipping. But we're working on it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, the only one that I kind of got screwed on was the Worthington double tassel necklace, which I charged $4.50 shipping, and it cost me $6. So, or $6.07 to be exact, because we like data and we like being exact. So, you know, still something to work on. Still aware of it, still calling it out, because the more repetition that I do with this, the more I'm going to be better about it, because it's a reminder and not for me to like justify being like, hey, it's a great discount for the buyer. Like the net profit is so much less than my gross profit, and I'm not trying to play games with shipping. So, you know what? Rachel, be better. On Tuesday, I had one lovely sale. That was on Poshmark. It was a custom retro embroidered graphic print jacket. It was for the car company Scion. It was really cool. I've had it for a long time. I don't think I took good enough pictures to show how cool it was. I've had a lot of people like throw lowball offers out, but finally sold. It sold for $30 and Poshmark released 24, which was my pre-net for the day. On Wednesday, we had 5 sales, 4 on eBay, 1 on Poshmark. On eBay, we have a Radio Shack employee polo shirt, which sold for $17 with $7 shipping. And eBay released $20.42. Then we had this 2006 Cirque du Soleil Through the Eyes of Neil Goldberg program. It was kind of like it was from my friend who used to work for a company that I think did theaters or theater promotions or something. Anyways, it was a really cool like book, especially with like photos of the creator of Cirque du Soleil, like a lot of his projects. It sold for $33 with $7 shipping, and eBay released $34.20. Then we have this vintage unbranded silver rhinestone brooch. It sold for $10 with $4 shipping, and eBay released $11.67. Then we have this John Varvatos. Okay, my pronunciation sucks. Purple burnout shirt. It's a luxury brand, but the resale value is okay. At least my experience with it has been. It sold for $19 with $6 shipping, and eBay released $21.42. Then on Poshmark, we have this women's cupshe mesh side cutout swimsuit. Say that 15 times fast. It sold for $15 and Poshmark released $12. So the pre-net for that day was $99.71, but there are 4 shipping labels to take out, and all the shipping labels are now being like $6 on average, so makes me very sad. I still I love the people at the post office, but whoever's doing the prices and the increases and stuff, I don't know what their overall cost is, but man oh man, are they am I getting killed with shipping? Anyways, the shipping labels were $6.95, $6.24, $6.07, and $5.22 for a grand pre-net total of $75.23. Then on Thursday, we have one sale. On Mercari, oh, hi Mercari, it's been a minute. We have this Just Play Sesame Street Cookie Monster plush. As a former employee of Sesame Street Live, anything Sesame Street, I will pick up. It sold for $10 and Mercari released $8.38 to me, which means that my pre-net for the day was about the amount of a cup of coffee, which was $8.38. Then on Friday, we had 3 sales, 2 on eBay, 1 on Poshmark. We have this White House Black Market teal embroidered dress. I loved this, and I actually picked this up for me, but because the size label had been cut out, I thought it might fit me, but it was a little small. But I sold it on eBay. I put the measurements in there, and I also used my own trying it on, saying that I'm usually a size 6. And more like a 4 for White House Black Market, but it was really snug and I couldn't zip it up all the way, blah, 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 with measurements. And the person got it and left me a positive review, so it obviously fit them. And I think that's, again, when we talk about AI listings, why it's so important to make sure, because I'm not giving advice, that I put in my measurements with things, especially with clothing, to make sure that people are able to make informed decisions. Anyways, long rant for a $15 sale, but it sold for $15 with $8 shipping, and eBay released $19.44. Then we had this mobile dog gear reflective dog bag. My friend gave that to me, and it sold for $11 with $6 shipping, and eBay released $14.35. Then on Poshmark, we have this guaranteed ABC wax fabric. I've had this for a while, but it was really cool fabric. It sold for $12 and Poshmark released $9.05. So we have $42.84 released from the platforms, but we had two more expensive shipping labels. One was $9.30 and one was $6.94. Again, a reminder to make sure the flat rate shipping costs are more in line with what the actual cost will be. And so after taking $9.30 and $6.94 for the shipping labels, we have a grand pre-net of $26.60, which again, look at 42 to 26, that's, almost half. So definitely something to think about. So for the week, our pre-net was $164.62. Okay, so that's great. So let's talk about last week, which is basically just 2 days. So the pre-net's going to be pretty pathetic. But we did have some sales, so let's go over them. On Monday, we had 4 sales, 2 on eBay, 2 on Poshmark. We had a vintage 1976 Superstar Barbie pink stand. This sold on commission for $20 with $6 shipping. eBay released $22.07. Then we have this RSVLT Roosevelt's The Office Dwight Elf button-up shirt. Actually, this is a pretty popular brand, which, again, I think I picked up this shirt because nobody was really interested in it, but it sold for $20 with $6.75 shipping, and eBay released $22.69. Then on Poshmark, we have this Reformation Tiki Rome print crop top. It sold for $25, and Poshmark released $20. Then we have this vintage black filigree oval gold tone pendant, really pretty, sold for $15, and Poshmark released $12. So the amount released to me from the platforms was $76.76. Then we had to take out 2 shipping labels and a commission. And the shipping labels were $6.24 and $6.19, and the commission was $7.91. So the pre-net for Monday, or the weekend, I should say, was $56.42. Then on Tuesday, which is the day we left, but I did leave my platforms open until we actually left. So when I got home, I had a call back for a show in like Los Angeles. Then I had to drive back, and then we had to drive back in that direction to go and go visit my family. But I made some sales that morning, so great. This is good because I wasn't getting paid the rest of the week, so this was good. We had 2 sales on Poshmark. One was a 2016 Disney Tangled The Series Flynn and Rapunzel doll. They sold for $12, and Poshmark released $9.05. Then we have this antique red, yellow velvet tie-dye dresser scarf table runner. I have quite a few of these. You'll see quite a few of these selling. I'm selling these on commission. They're really cool. This one sold for $32, and Poshmark released $25.60. The total released to me from Poshmark was $34.65. I do need to take out $12.80 commission. So my grand total for that day was $21.85. So for last week, for only having 2 days of sales, I had $78.27 as my pre-net, which is better than some of my full weeks. So you know what? Nobody is going to scoff at any of that, and I'm just going to be grateful. Again, really just reiterating my whole shipping thing and knowing that I'm really sucking at this and need to do better. The problem is that when I increase shipping costs, it's going to increase the overall cost, which could possibly price me out of competition. So, there's so many things to think about. When we talk about the empathic capitalism, I have been talking about for every single video for the last 4 weeks about bringing cookies to the ladies at the post office. One of the post office that I go to is very small. They are obviously understaffed all the time. They're constantly overworked. They do such an amazing job. I've had such a great experience. And they're not responsible for the stupid post office increasing their prices. So I wanted to do something nice. I brought cookies. I didn't even take a picture because I was getting ready to go out of town, and I had I have acting class, I had callback, I actually have a show that I booked that I have to be off book for the first rehearsal that I can't talk about yet. So I've just been like driving myself nuts. So I just did it fast. I made some chocolate chip cookies. I brought them to the ladies at the post office. One lady was there. She said, thank you. It was very anticlimactic. She wasn't even like, she's like, thank you. And just took the cookies and left. And I was like, great. You can't control the response. You know, I think in my head, I'm like the movie. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you for thinking of me. You're amazing. No. Half the time when I do things like this, like the reaction is like, okay, crazy person, what are you doing? Doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing it. But I did it. And I feel good about that. I feel good that I did something nice for somebody. As I mentioned, I booked a show, so I'm going to start rehearsals in a couple weeks. So I need to try and see if I can like volunteer at a food bank. The one in Orange County is a little far for me, and just given the price of gas here in California, which is over $6, FYI, I might need to like look into something a little bit closer, even though I had a wonderful experience donating my time there at the Second Harvest Food Bank. And that's actually where my donations, 50 cents from every sale I make, goes to the Second Harvest Food Bank. That's where it goes to mostly. And, you know, it's nice to see where my money went and what's being spent on. But yeah, I'm going to try and find some place that is closer to home. But it is still very important. As busy as I am, as finances are tightening, it becomes harder to do things like this, but I can't stop giving up on that. You know, and if the worst thing happens that I just continually bring cookies to the people at the post office or UPS or, you know, God knows wherever else I go, the bins, the people at the bins, which I brought pizza to a month ago or so, then so be it. You know, at least it's something. We're in this world where it just feels like everything is very insular and very detached and very like not thinking about each other. And I feel like that is part of where we're all like butting heads, because none of us feel heard or respected. And, you know, and it's hard when you feel that way. And so I'm just trying to do small things to like let people know that I appreciate them, so that maybe they'll take that and bring that into the rest of their day. Stupid, maybe, but it's my goal. But that's pretty much about it. We have one more week of sales, and then we'll go over the month and see what happened. I think I talked smack enough. No need to do anything. Don't like, don't subscribe, don't do anything you don't want to do. I am so appreciative of the fact that I now have 8 subscribers. Thank you. Watching even 2 seconds of a rambling video about nothing, I very much appreciate you. I know your life is crazy and busy, and I don't want anything from you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to provide a perspective and a little bit of entertainment. So no Patreon, no anything, like no memberships, no monetization, no affiliate links, just appreciation, and no need to even like the video if you don't, you know, enjoy it. So all good. And if you hate me, awesome, more power to you. Like, fair. Not everybody's gonna like you, right? This is going to come out after the fact, but happy Memorial Day. Thank you so much to our troops. And Carpe Diem, y'all. Let's see what we have to talk about next week, which is probably nothing, but I appreciate you. Have a great week. Bye.